Hey, I'm Lights Camera Jackson and welcome to LCJ Live. It's Sunday, May 21, 2023. Fast 10 is your number one movie. $67.5 million. 67.5 is just a little bit lower than what the last Fast and Furious movie opened to, F9, The Fast Saga, 2 years ago. Less than 2 years ago. So I thought it was going to do maybe a little lower than this, but I don't think Universal can necessarily be thrilled that this one made close to the same exact amount of money. Fast 9 doing 173 total was considered a disappointment 2 years ago, considering some of the other Fast and Furious movies. Fate of the Furious did 225. Fast and Furious 6 did 238 total. Furious 7 did 353 total. Big opens, 70 million open for the Fast and Furious reboot in 2009. 86 million open for Fast 5 in 2011, which totaled, I think, 209. So I think this is another Fast and Furious that's going to do under $200 million. And I think people are getting sick of this series. I'm getting sick of this series because the results of these last 3 or 4 have not been very strong. 6 was fun. 7 was pretty good. 8 was okay, but it started changing up some things and didn't like where it was going. And Hobbs and Shaw was pretty bad. F9 was pretty bad. This is terrible. Fast 10 is terrible. Mike Sargent and I review this movie. We kind of destroy Fast 10. Just what does not work about this movie, from the action to the story to the dialogue delivery to the dialogue itself and so many other elements. We talk about it on the latest episode of the Too Fast, Two Films podcast. It's at toofast2films.com. We review Fast 10. And we also review the new Donna Summer documentary that's on HBO now called Love to Love You, Donna Summer. You can stream it on HBO Max. It's still called HBO Max for another couple days before the HBO goes away, and it's just called Max. Everybody named Max should get it for free. So 67.5. Look, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 with a strong third weekend, $32 million. It's up to 266.5. Better than I think Disney expected, better than a lot of people expected. Made $8 million on Friday, so multiply that by 4, you get your 32. And it did very well yesterday and today. Guardians is at 266.5. I think it'll cross 300. The first Guardians made 333. Second Guardians made 390. It's not going to get to 390. It'll try to get to that 333. I don't think it'll quite get there, but I do think it'll get over 300 million domestically. A big improvement over the Ant-Man movie that came out earlier this year, but it will fall short of the Black Panther, Wakanda Forever film, and Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness, which made over 400 million, and Thor: Love and Thunder, which did 343 last summer. Mario, almost 10 million more, 9.8 million this weekend. It's at 549.3. It'll cross 550. But now, here come new family films. Here comes The Little Mermaid, and I've got Ariel and her friends here with me. Little Mermaid is on the way, just a few days away, and how will that do for families? I'll give you my predictions and thoughts here coming up in a second on LCJ Live. But Little Mermaid is out this week, and next week is Spider-Verse, Elemental 2 weeks after that, Ruby Gillman, Teenage Kraken 2 weeks after that. So the animated competition is underway, and the family film competition is underway. Will Mario have a huge drop? I think it'll go down to maybe 4 million next week. And if it does more than 4 million, I think Universal will be happy with that. But it'll go down to 4 million. And then with Spider-Man, it'll probably go down to 2 million. Unless Mario continues to have legs. It's done so well at 549. Probably total out at 560 something. Maybe it'll get to 575. That's probably a little much. But another strong weekend for Mario. Next up is Book Club, The Next Chapter, which added 3 million. It's at 13.1. People are going. I've heard many stories of many older people especially going to see this movie, but it's not totaling a lot of money, just 13.1 million. In fact, it hasn't even gotten to the opening weekend of what the first Book Club movie did 5 years ago yet. That was 13.6. We're not even there yet after about 11 days. So it's a disappointment for Focus Features in that ensemble, and I do think we probably won't be seeing a third Book Club movie. People are going. People are watching it. People will watch it probably when it's on Peacock. But for right now, Book Club, The Next Chapter, not doing so well. Evil Dead Rise added 2.4 million. It's at 64.1, the biggest Warner Brothers movie of the year, heading into The Flash in a few weeks. Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, and John Wick Chapter 4, both from Lionsgate. Both made $1.3 million this weekend. Margaret is at 18.7. It'll try to get to 20 million total. And John Wick Chapter 3 has now hit $185 million. You got questions, thoughts, comments? Did you see Fast 10? Let me know here on LCJ Live. Hypnotic added 885,000 this weekend. It's at 4.1. Blackberry added some theaters this weekend. We're looking at how much money it also made in Canada, which does count in all this, but there was some confusion last weekend. Looks like it added another 500,000. It's up to 1.2 million total for IFC Films. It's a good movie. I'm glad people are finding it, discovering it, checking it out. Blackberry, strong performances from Jay Baruchel and Glenn Howerton, who I had the chance to speak with about 2 weeks ago now. Check out that LCJ Q&A podcast episode at lcj.podbean.com. Seems like rounding out your top 10 this weekend is Dungeons and Dragons, hanging on there with another 390,000. It's at 92.8 for Paramount. We'll see. Don't have the results yet for Air. Maybe Air will try to make as much money as that. Another new movie that opened in theaters this weekend I thought was going to get in the top 10, but did not. Master Gardener, the new Paul Schrader movie with Joel Edgerton. Just $269,000 this weekend. Significantly less than the Card Counter from Focus Features a couple years ago. First Reformed made a few $1 million for A24. Did pretty well. Just $269,000 for Master Gardener. Magnolia, the marketing wasn't there quite as much, but also the movie's not very good. It's okay, but you want a juicy, raw, real experience and a drama that grabs your attention and keeps your attention for the entire 2 hours. That is not Master Gardener, and not a lot of people went to see it this weekend. Now, there are a few movies that are opening in theaters next weekend. A couple going up against The Little Mermaid. One is Kandahar, which I have seen, but I am not allowed to tell you my thoughts on it until at least Wednesday. This is the new Gerard Butler movie. I will say this, if you're expecting it to be like Plane and the Has Fallen trilogy and Hunter Killer and some of his other Greenland, some of his other action thrillers of recent years, this is not quite that. There is some action, but it is much more of a drama. So that's Kandahar. I'll let you know my thoughts later this week. Also opening this week, which I'm looking forward to seeing, is You Hurt My Feelings from A24. Kandahar's from Open Road. You Hurt My Feelings is from A24. It's the reteaming of writer-director Nicole Holofcener and star Julia Louis-Dreyfus. They did Enough Said 10 years ago for Searchlight. Now here comes You Hurt My Feelings, which premiered at Sundance in January. It's an hour-and-a-half long comedy. We'll see how smart it is, clever it is, if it's emotionally resonant, if it works. You Hurt My Feelings opens this weekend. I'm looking forward to checking that out. And of course, the curiosity of The Little Mermaid. How will it do? Well, I think it'll do well out of the gate. I think there is enough curiosity there for people to want to go see it over Memorial Day weekend. Right now, I'm looking at boxofficepro.com, and they're looking at they're thinking about 100 million-ish for the 3-day, maybe a little more for the 4-day. I think it can get there. May come a little short. It's tough. I'm going to say it does 95 for the 3-day. Maybe does 112 for the 4-day. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking just about that. Because I think there will be some families who go. But because it's live action, there will be some families with young kids who are so used to the animated movie and thinking, man, maybe we don't take them yet to the live action version. I think it'll do okay out of the gate. And then depending on how the movie is, people will decide whether they want to go see it again. I'm not sure. It's 2 hours and 15 minutes long. That's also going to prevent some families, I think, from going out of the gate. They may go to drive-ins, which would be great. But for the indoor theater experience, I'm not sure. I hope the theaters do well with it. They've been doing well with Guardians and Mario for sure. But I'm thinking 95, 112. That's where I'm at. If it does more than that, Disney will be thrilled. Maybe because of the increased ticket prices and the inflation and all of that, it'll do more than that. That's where I'm at right now. 95, 112 for The Little Mermaid. Kandahar will make a couple million. You Hurt My Feelings will make a couple million. That'll expand over the few weeks. Debuting Friday night on HBO is the new Mary Tyler Moore documentary, Being Mary Tyler Moore, which I have seen. I'll give you my thoughts on that with a new review coming to lights-camera-jackson.com very soon. This week coming up. Let me mention the Cannes Film Festival for a little bit here. The Cannes Film Festival is going on right now, and yesterday, 2 big movies premiered. May December, which is the new Todd Haynes movie starring Natalie Portman and Julianne Moore. And of course, Martin Scorsese's Killers of the Flower Moon, his new 3.5-hour long drama from Paramount and Apple. That'll be in select theaters on October 6th, go nationwide on the 20th, and will be on Apple TV Plus at a yet-to-be-determined date. The reviews seem to be very positive for the most part for both of these movies, especially Killers of the Flower Moon. I've not seen all of Scorsese's catalog. I've liked some of his films. Haven't been a huge fan of his recent movies. Hugo was not a fan. Wolf of Wall Street did not like. Did not like Silence. Was bored out of my mind. The Irishman I thought was good. Al Pacino, outstanding. Best supporting actor performance that year for me was Al Pacino. He gave the movie life. But boy, it dragged, and there was not a lot that really happened in The Irishman. Some of his other movies came comedy, Raging Bull, Color of Money, excellent movies. But his recent movies haven't done it for me. And so going into Killers of the Flower Moon, I'm not sure. The Golden Oreos, any thoughts on the recent reception of Indiana Jones 5 that came out of Cannes? Feels like Disney expected way better reception with a month-out blockbuster. Well, I think a lot of people, the new Indiana Jones Dial of Destiny premiered the other day, and I think a lot of people are going to look at it a couple different ways. You either look at it as a standalone movie, which you should. You look at it as the end of a 5-part saga, and does it live up to what Spielberg did with the other 4? And in particular, the other 3, because a lot of people didn't like Crystal Skull. I liked Crystal Skull. I liked the first Indiana Jones movie as well. But the expectations are going to be so high for some people that James Mangold not being Steven Spielberg, hopefully it's a good movie. I thought Ford versus Ferrari was terrific. I thought Night and Day was terrific. James Mangold can make good movies. He allowed Reese Witherspoon to win an Oscar for Walk the Line. Did the Wolverine and has been involved in that saga, right? He did the Wolverine, I think. So he's made good movies. Frankly, I thought Ford versus Ferrari had a shot at winning Best Picture. He also did Logan. Logan was a good movie with a Critics' Choice nominated performance by Patrick Stewart. So Ford vs. Ferrari could have won Best Picture. Won a couple Oscars. I thought, gosh, if this movie had enough momentum behind it, maybe it would win Best Picture. That was my dark horse that night, was Ford vs. Ferrari winning Best Picture. But anyway, look, it's Harrison Ford's final outing. We all know going in, it's Harrison Ford's final outing as Indiana Jones. So that takes away a little emotion, a little suspense, I think, because we already know going in, this is the last one. The Last Crusade was not the last one. Crystal Skull was not the last one, as it turns out. So we already know how we're sort of going to feel at the end, right? Even if we don't know everything. So that takes away a little bit going in. But I just hope it's a fun movie. It's a good movie that it looks like Harrison Ford is having a good time with it, and that we're having a good time with him throughout this 2.5-hour journey of this Indiana Jones film. Hopefully it has enough substance to it. Hopefully it's thrilling enough, it's exciting enough, and it's just not going through the motions. Harrison Ford came back for Star Wars The Force Awakens, and he was one of the best aspects of Star Wars The Force Awakens. He also returned to his iconic Blade Runner role for Blade Runner 2049. A very good movie. An outstanding film. I was so pleased that Denis Villeneuve was nominated for Best Director that year for the BAFTA. He should have been nominated for the Oscar. Blade Runner 2049 is an excellent movie. Is it long? Yes. Is it worth it? Yes. It's even better than the original. We've seen people return to their iconic roles and do really well with it. We've seen Harrison Ford do it. We've seen Sylvester Stallone do it. We've seen plenty of other people do it. So I hope that just like Star Wars The Force Awakens and Blade Runner 2049, that we get a satisfying return to an iconic character from Harrison Ford. So hopefully it's fun. Did Disney expect 4-star, 5-star reviews? Maybe. Maybe. But they're going to open the movie on June 30 before 4th of July. It's going to make a ton of money over the long 4th of July weekend. In fact, there isn't even a huge movie coming out the following weekend, July 7th. There's an Insidious movie, I think. But Mission Impossible is not till the 12th. Barbie and Oppenheimer not till the 21st. Disney's going to have Indiana Jones attention for 2 weeks, basically. So they're going to make a lot of money. And hopefully the movie's fun. Older people are going to go. Some younger people are going to go, but maybe not a ton of younger people. But some will. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny is on the way. As Disney continues an interesting summer that started off with Guardians, continues with Little Mermaid, goes to Elemental, then Indiana Jones, and then Haunted Mansion at the end of July. When we are back here next time, over next weekend at some point, I have to figure out a few things. For LCJ Live, we'll see how Little Mermaid's doing. I'll give you my thoughts on it. Same with You Hurt My Feelings. Same with Kandahar. We will preview Spider-Verse, which is the big movie that kicks off the month of June. And what a month of June it's going to be. Spider-Verse, Transformers, Rise of the Beasts, The Flash, Elemental, No Hard Feelings, Ruby Gilman, Indiana Jones, and a few other movies, including Past Lives and Flamin' Hot on Hulu, and Extraction 2 on Netflix. Stan Lee documentary on Disney+. The Tribeca Film Festival is in June. And Asteroid City. Wes Anderson's new movie opens in June from Focus Features. How will that do? It's a big June ahead for sure. And we'll look forward to a little Memorial Day box office action here on LCJ Live. Thank you for watching today's episode. As always, go to Twitter at LCJ Reviews, Instagram at LightsCamJackson. The website is lights-camera-jackson.com. And starting tomorrow, all week long, I'm back on 99.5 The River with the Celebrity Birthday Game Showdown. A rematch against Tracy. I lost last time in an epic Game 5. I barely lost. She barely beat me. What will happen this time? You got to find out and listen all week long for that. And I'll be back on Friday as well with reviews of Little Mermaid, Kandahar, You Hurt My Feelings, and Being Mary Tyler Moore. Thank you for watching LCJ Live. Have a good Sunday. Have a good week. Enjoy the Memorial Day weekend. I'll see you back here at some point over that weekend for the next episode of LCJ Live. Bye-bye, everybody. Thanks for watching.